welcome to episode 10 of the NEPA Scene podcast. Thank you for staying with us all this time. Yes, Marky is signaling 10.
Yeah, instead of holding up 10 fingers, I did 1 and then a 0.
Oh, okay.
Which I could have just did all 10 fingers, but
well, it's pretty cool.
Public school.
I'm glad we made it to 10 episodes, and we've had a lot of fun.
We haven't been canceled yet.
We haven't.
That's true.
It's great.
You know?
Yeah, they like us. They really like us.
We're a mid-season order, but I think we have a healthy future.
So today we have with us Zach Hammond, who is a local comedian. Hi, Zach.
Hello.
And
there's no need for that.
Sorry.
Zach,
I've seen your work, sir. So
Thank you.
yeah, Zach is
Say I was good. You just said you saw it. So
you're right. Exactly.
If you're not familiar with his work, you will be by the end. But we also have an extensive interview with Zach on NEPAscene.com that we did a little while ago. So check that out. He was actually voted the first winner at our open mic nights on Tuesdays that we do at the Woodlands. And he's been a regular ever since, and he's always funny, and he always brings something new to the table, which is impressive week after week to see brand new material week after week, and it's funny as hell. It's always funny.
Thank you.
It's hard, man.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It is. So
we're the three of us are just trying to get by.
We're not only going to talk about him and his career, but just the local comedy scene in general, and just the fact that there is a local comedy scene, I think, is a surprise to many people. It was to me even as well, even though I've been doing entertainment reporting for years and years. I knew there were local comedians doing it in the area, but a lot of them are friends, and they do these shows together, and there's a lot of really funny, great stuff going on that people don't know about. So we're going to get into that stuff in a little bit. So first, we'll talk about just some quick things that are on the website this week. Lots of announcements, actually. Today, Eric Church announced that he's going to be at the Mohegan Sun Arena coming up. Another country star, because apparently the country
Georgia
stars
Florida
are
line.
Can we shit on them? Every time
I don't
you
know.
guys have done it.
I think I think at least 3 occasions that we've gone out of our way to shit on them.
There was a YouTube video. Jimmy, when was that YouTube video? Like 2 weeks ago?
About what?
Remember when they put all the country songs on top of each other, and they were all the same song?
Yeah, I think it came out sometime in December, but we found it about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they put like 6 country songs on top of each other.
Right.
But I laughed my ass off when one of them was Florida Georgia.
They literally played them at the same time.
They played it was 6 songs on top of each other.
Right.
And it was the same.
Yeah, it was
tune.
basically the same thing. And even
I don't even think basically. I think it really was.
Even the lyrics cut into each other all kind of sounded like the same song.
Well.
Like they actually went well together.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I want to know who got the publishing rights on that.
Yeah, right.
All right, so I'm sorry for bringing up Florida Georgia Line again.
Yeah, let's get
Wait
get
until
away from
next
them.
week.
The New Vintage Theater Ensemble, which is a brand new group that formed this year, they're doing a stage reading coming up, so they're looking for original scripts. So if you're a script writer or a playwright at all, they're looking to read original scripts in a series they have coming up.
Jimmy, keep that in mind.
Okay.
All right.
And also a local cabaret production, which is cool that exists. John and Aaron Cabaret Productions have a new season coming out, so they sent us a thing on that.
Jimmy, keep that in mind.
Are you into show tunes?
No, I'm just hoping if everything I say, I'm like, keep that in mind. He's like, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he didn't. He just nodded.
I mean, cabaret's a
You
little
got to
bit
quiz him at the
different
end.
I know.
from show
Are you
tunes.
taking notes?
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
We'll have a cool video either tonight or tomorrow going up of Title Fight, the local hardcore band from Kingston, who's now more shoegaze than hardcore, is
What does that mean?
They stare at your shoes.
shoegaze music.
This is the first
Oh, it's
moment
an
I've
infant.
ever heard of that.
Yeah.
Shoegazing.
It sounds exactly what it sounds like.
Should I
It's
sound-
the kind of
should I
music
be-
that you stare at your shoes while you're listening to, because it's kind of like trippy and just kind of goes out there and
Wait,
weird.
so they went from being
they were like a kind of a punk band, like punk hardcore type band, and now they're kind of moving that direction, which a lot of bands are nowadays.
How is this the first time I've ever heard of the term
I'm
shoegazing?
really not
don't
sure
know.
you've never heard. You've had to.
Yeah,
have
like
heard of
last
this.
week I've never heard of Lucy cigarettes.
Oh,
I know.
Mark.
It's a new one for me too, man.
Lucy cigarettes?
No, shoegazing.
Shoegazing? I've never heard of.
Shoegazing.
Yep.
I get it. But
That's
I don't
something to do
get
at the
it.
mall.
I don't.
I'm not I'm not down in the music. I've just never heard
Right.
that, and I don't know why they.
When you listen to it, you would say, okay, yeah, I get why this
like
is
I mean,
called
like if I
shoegaze.
if I'm walking around with my earbuds in, I'll just my neck will just bend.
Well, you might you might just walk away somewhere and then not know how you got there, because it's just that kind of music. It's just
I
gonna
don't
take
need
you
music
somewhere.
to do that, though. I kind of just do that regularly.
I just need an alley in Wilkes-Barre. That's,
So they actually did a mural of their new album cover in reflective paint in Wilkes-Barre, and they actually got that approved by the city. Really? Yeah, pretty cool actually.
I don't know how people are going to see that if they're looking at the shoes.
Yeah, well,
I'm trying to make it funny. I've
I-
never heard that before. It just sounds strange.
that was good.
'Cause
That was. I'll give you that, Mark.
It was more of a dad joke, but
I'll take it.
all right.
I'll take it.
No, guy, I just never heard. Now I have to buy another album.
We also will have photos of Turbo Suit, who used to be Cosby Sweater, so you can understand why they changed their name. You could totally understand why they
do
moved in that direction.
You see, Theo. Thank you. We have a new album coming out.
Lord, you're trying so hard not to laugh.
Put your oranges away.
Well, they were at River Street Jazz Cafe. We were at Louise's first show, which we did the story on last week, and so we have photos from that, and Estakota, Black Diamond, Spur, Backslashes and Bad Ideas, and Chris Castellano from the Greater Victory all played that show. It was a church basement show. It was kind of cool, actually. A lot of younger kids. I felt really old because I'm 31. And now I'm at that
Am I
point.
the oldest person in the room?
Yeah, where I start going to shows and I'm like, oh God, I'm that guy. You know, like somebody either thinks like I drove my,
I feel
my
like
kid
that at
there,
playgrounds.
or Mark, you're just knocking them out today.
Oh, it's just all the.
You're on-
It's all
you're
the
on
chamomile.
fire.
It's all the chamomile
We have a
with lemon zest.
we have a concert review of Fireball, Phyllis Hopkins, Electric Trio, and the Russell Project. That was at Diane's Deli in Pittston. We'll also have a review coming up of the Idle Kings at the Scranton Cultural Center, which was just over the weekend.
Did you go to that?
I didn't, but one of our correspondents did. So he's going to send us photos and a review of that. I didn't get to check it out. I wanted to though. I've heard they're very good. And I was also on 94.3 The Talker the past couple weeks. Actually, I was with Marty Wolf, who was he was on one of our earlier podcasts. So
I like Marty a lot.
yeah,
I like Corey a lot too.
It was Business Leaders Radio, so we talked business, but we also talked a lot about the site.
that?
Well, that's what I don't know why he asked me to be on that show. I thought that was kind of crazy, but I'm like, all right,
That's like
I'm
me
not
being
gonna
a
take-
guest host on The View.
I don't know if it's that much of a. I'm
just kidding.
Jeez, man.
Did he make you do a SWOT analysis or if anything?
Essentially, you just want to talk about like the whole young entrepreneur thing, which the young I guess we can differ on, but the whole entrepreneur thing of trying to get a new business off the ground
How
with a
long
different
was it?
idea, something different. It's 2 half-hour shows, and so we'll because they're over now, we can put them up on the site. So we'll actually have them on the site, so you can listen to them if you want to hear the interview.
All
I
right.
think I might have to listen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good show.
I'd be interested to
he's
hear
a
what it sounds like with Rich without me interrupting him.
Yeah, Marty's a great host too because he doesn't interrupt mainly.
Well, I mean, if I just let people go the way that I go,
Hey, Mark,
Right.
yeah. Are you waiting to insult me now?
how's your life coaching going?
Very, as well as it can.
Yeah.
Yeah, 0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're gonna go to Resolutions this weekend,
On
right?
Saturday,
Yeah,
right?
January 25th. It's this Saturday?
This Saturday.
Wow, the month's flying by.
Yeah. Seriously.
It really is. What's today? The
Nowhere to go
19th?
but
Today's the 19th.
Jesus.
Well,
Just
by the time
yesterday
you
felt
listen
like
to
Christmas
this,
and I got new underoos.
So you can get your second public therapy session at Resolutions.
or my flogging.
I think we should take a video camera.
We should. Yeah.
I was thinking about doing that.
You
but
want
I
to take
gotta-
a video camera?
Are you going to be around?
I think I might have to. Let's take that one.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
So that's at the Hilton Scranton. It's
Starting at 11 a.m. till 7 or 10 a.m. to 7.
I think it's 10 to 7.
Okay.
And
Because I remember I got lambasted for saying September 25th.
It's not in September. That's
Lamb basted.
It's.
It's dirigible.
Thank you.
you just really love.
Is it lambasted or lambasted?
It's
Lambasted.
lambasted. It's lambasted unless you're basting a lamb.
No.
I like how Jimmy's always like,
I always
yep,
I did
nope.
I always did pronounce it lambasted. So
I thought it was
don't know if that's-
lambasted.
It's lambasted.
Am I right?
Yeah.
I defer to
From New
Lauren.
Jersey.
And you also you also pronounced dirigible correctly.
It's
I
it's
did it as a
descriptive
smartass.
grammatics, isn't it?
Yeah.
However everybody's using it is how it's going to be used.
Exactly. Well, that's the new English now. Is really it's just if enough people get it wrong, then it's suddenly right.
Like ain't,
Yeah.
Ain't is not a word.
but enough people got it wrong.
Yeah. That it pretty much is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
My
you could
phone
find-
does not autocorrect ain't.
Isn't it supposed to be a contraction of am not?
No. It's
Well,
a
I went to
contraction of
King's,
things
so
that
that's what
don't
I learned
exist.
there.
I went to Marywood, so I don't know if that's not going to be much of a help either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to college. That doesn't really help there either.
Yeah. Yeah. Really.
It's really the
Doesn't matter where you go.
No.
It's just kind of at the end of it, you're like, thank you for debt and paper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I learned nothing. I learned what not to do.
I probably would have been able to start this business like 10 years ago if it weren't for college. So thank you. Thank you, college.
I would have had a better life had it not been
Yeah.
For
I
college.
wouldn't have to pay anything back.
That's the grand illusion. All right, keep going. We'll get to that. Keep going on.
Well,
the site.
that's it. I just resolutions is Sunday, January 25th.
I thought it was Saturday.
Nope, it's Sunday. Sunday, January
Wait,
25th.
it's Sunday?
Yep, it's
It's the Sabbath. It's the day the Lord rested, Lauren.
Oh, no, that's fine because I'm going to make duck on Saturday.
yeah, I'm looking at
I
it right
like
now.
how that's how you define your schedule.
No, I have to do my whole weekend around when I'm going to cook this stupid duck.
Duck bastard.
It's duck basted, to be sure, because I will be basting this.
Awesome,
I will be.
Jim.
It's a whole duck, so I got to roast it.
Nailed it, Jimmy.
Okay.
I might have to borrow your oranges though, Jimmy.
Sure thing.
Okay.
That'll rehydrate them by putting them in the baster.
Jimmy, okay, I have to explain this one a little bit.
You can now sell those oranges to Wegmans.
I'm
As
sorry, but
artificial.
No, as dehydrated
Elements.
fruit.
I went.
yeah.
I went into Jimmy's side of the studio earlier today and saw 2 dried up hard oranges on the console, and it confused me. So I just kind of stared at him and I pointed at the oranges because he was
Because
in.
not
he was
every
in
day do
this
I
room.
walk into a room and there's 2
Well, I have a
oranges.
reason for that though.
What's your reason? Because you never
So-
actually explained this.
Well, I got obsessed with clementines for a little while, and I would leave them in my backpack, or one would fall out and become a stray in the bottom of my bag, and it would kind of go bad. And you know how like it's a gift to give oranges? It's like a welcoming gift.
yeah.
No.
I was leaving them on everyone's
knows.
desks around here for a
You-
little while. I
you
thought
should
it was
always-
funny
you
to
should
leave
always
a
put-
rotten orange.
You should always put an orange in your sweetheart's Christmas stocking.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
yeah, no.
Well, anyway, I thought it was a welcoming present or whatever, and I was just leaving rotten.
They were
ones on their on their desks. And
fresh.
these were rotten, but they got lost, so now they're just petrified.
Those are petrified
even rotten
oranges. We should
anymore.
cut those open with a saw.
I would love to.
Okay, let's
After
do
the
that.
show.
Yeah.
We could post a picture on the
We will.
on the page.
Let's just
What if
pelt somebody with
what if
them.
like 10,000 baby spiders come out of there?
Then so be it.
And that's
Even better.
fantastic.
Then I better grow 10,000 feet so I could step on all of them.
So Zach, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So tell us about your career thus far, and why did you get into comedy? Let's start there.
Most of it.
And be fucking funny. I'm just kidding.
My God, Mark.
I'm starting to see why, like
That
at the
was
beginning
so
of the show,
rude.
she's ready to kick your ass.
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it?
I mean, I want to know why every episode now, but I understand this episode.
No,
for everybody
she's
that's listening.
Lauren gets. If I in it,
He
I don't.
lambasts her all the whole show.
I don't intend to make enemies. It just ends up happening.
That's good. That's
It
very
was
white of
total
you.
sarcasm. That was good. All right, sorry. So
That's all right.
So comedy.
Most of it stemmed from the comic Christopher Titus. He has a special Norman
Oh my God, I
Rockwell's
loved
Bleeding.
him.
Yeah,
That was a great special. Did you ever watch the show?
I have all 3 seasons of
Oh
the
my
show.
God,
I
it was so
love
good.
that show.
Stacy
It's
Keach,
so
man.
good. But I watched that and I realized my family's just as fucked up as his. And I was like, if he can take all his problems and display it that way, then surely I should be able to do it. And that's no knock against him. It was just, if you can handle your issues in that way and joking about them, it's much better than yelling at people or hating life. So I started doing open mics, talent shows, all of that stuff. Mostly trying to talk about my family, but also trying to go into different bits, comedic, just bullshit bits. And I'm sorry, when you first start off, everybody tries to
do the bit.
Yeah, just do a bit or tell a story, and they always suck because you have no comedic timing and you
Right.
know nothing about how comedy works, and you eventually just learn how to do it properly. So I started off talking about my family, and I never did any cutesy bits. I never talked about going to the grocery store. I always talked about dark things. So I've always been that person. I've never once tried doing a cute bit. I've never been able to. I've never found anything funny about nice things. I can't do it.
That's why I've always enjoyed your humor, because I saw you a number of years ago before we started doing the open mic
And I was
thing.
bad.
But I still thought it was funny because I have that dark sense of humor
Right.
too. I like I'm into George Carlin and Richard Pryor and that kind of stuff, and I like those. I like when they go down those kind of roads. Louis C.K. is another. He's probably one of the only guys who's doing that now. There's so
Bill
many
Burr.
Doug Stanhope
Bill
does
Burr,
it
Doug
too.
Stanhope. Yeah. There's a couple of them, but
That Doug Stanhope has a year left in
Wait,
his life. He's that guy. When you watch him, he's just it's soon.
yeah.
So
Right, but he's okay with that too.
yeah, and he's totally okay with it. He's if I crash and burn whenever I do, I'm okay
Right.
with that. And
That's
that's
such a
maybe that's
great-
part of his charm. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because if you don't give a shit about your own well-being and you're upfront about it,
Doesn't have a care about it. It's
No.
amazing to watch.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, it seems too that it's weird to me, and maybe I should mention this later, but I'll just bring it up now since I'm thinking about it. There's a lot of comedians with podcasts and stuff. Are there any podcasts around here? Are there any comedy podcasts around here? Is there anybody doing that kind of stuff?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Yeah, see, that's weird.
it would be
to me.
called Zach.
That's true.
No, the issue
Not that I haven't seen other comedians. I feel awful.
That's fine. You can.
I know it's me. Just I don't know what shoe rock is. Or
I'm
whatever the
here,
hell it
not
is.
them. so it's
Shoegazing.
Shoegazing. Shoegazing. I'm sorry.
No, I think the biggest issue is that nobody has a central idea of what they would want to do with it. Because you can talk about anything, but I think every podcast has to have a general subject or a linear focus to it. You have to have something that you want to get across. If you're just going on there and talking, there's nothing that separates you from everybody else.
Oh shit! Is that what we're doing?
No, I mean you have specific episodes and you say we're going to talk about this and you fucking talk about nothing that has regards.
Yeah.
But if you're a famous comic, I mean, you can go on there and riff because that's what your audience wants you to do. They've invested in you, so they want to hear you.
I mean, Bill
I'm a
Burr
fucking
has
nobody in
one.
Pennsylvania, so if I
you were
riff,
somebody to us, man.
yeah, 4 people. That's I'm on my way.
Well, I just met you tonight, and I think you're hilarious.
Thank you very much, and I think you have nice skin.
Thanks.
Lauren just left.
That's the sign of a comic. I'm walking the room.
And people will have to wait to see that on video.
Wow,
That was good, though.
that was really good.
How come when he says shit like that, you laugh at it? When I
funny.
say,
Because okay, hold on. Here's the thing. I never watched the videos, so I don't know if you have a smile on your face when you say. I'm assuming you do, but I'm also willing to bet
Oh,
it's a
it's-
sick smile of I'm gonna break her.
no, I have no intention of doing that. I just like to.
Right.
Jimmy, don't I like to screw around? I like to say.
That's all you do. When you don't screw around, we ask you what's wrong.
like you did
Right.
a couple weeks ago.
That's
You're like,
exactly.
what's wrong,
I
man?
detected it right away.
Yeah, You're like, you're in a funk.
Yep.
And I'm like, so what?
Yeah. See, you're not only
I'm allowed to be. I'm not your fucking monkey. Wow. I can.
And then we had the life coach come in.
Right.
I-
And then,
I-
yeah.
so-
And that's how I kind of like pushed my way through that brick wall of sadness, was to realize how sad I really was.
Well, hold on. I've listened to every episode, but I'm liking this brick wall of sadness. That's funny as shit. That's
Yeah, you can use
hilarious.
it, man.
Don't
could
get
use it.
life coach. Don't fuck this up.
No, I think I'm in a really good place. I think I'm doing all right. I think I have to have my sadness. I think I
You're
have
supposed to.
Yeah, and I explained it to. Didn't I explain it to you?
Yes.
About the crests and troughs.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't be happy all the time.
No, you can't.
You,
You,
have,
you have to.
You would end up being.
You have to be fucking sad to realize what fucking happy is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So that's my philosophy on that. And wait until the mental health episode of talking about therapy and all that shit. I hope we do it, and it's just me having like a Sam Kinison fucking
all right.
60 minutes of like, say it, and just going crazy about.
All right, you bitter piece of shit. Fuck
Wow.
you.
I really am bitter. I don't know why. Like I
There's
don't know.
nothing wrong with that, though.
No, I know,
You seem
but
to
like
be in control of it. It's the people that are bitter and can't control.
yeah,
it
like
that
I'm
have
not
a
like
problem.
walking. I'm not like walking through the streets of like West Side with a machete, being like, "Who's next?"
Right, it's your fault.
I would actually.
Yeah, I'm fully aware that like everything that's wrong with me is like I don't blame anybody. It's me,
Right, and that's good.
and Lauren. Like, that's. I didn't mean that, honey. I really didn't. I don't know why you're mad at me. See, you get these looks, right? And these in the looks.
I think she's stuck.
Yeah, somebody unpause Lauren. But you get like when you get these
Give her
looks.
the Fonzie.
Just bang her on the head. There you go. Loosen the record.
All right, back to Zach.
Well,
What was it
how
like?
Do, how do people react to that? Like that type of humor?
Well, the issue was I didn't know how to do it properly. I just know that that's the path I wanted to go because those are the things that I found funny. And the biggest issue is that you have to be able to take what you find funny and make an audience understand why you find it funny. Because it's not enough just to go and say, you know, I saw this and I think it's funny. They have no idea why you even imagine why that's funny. So you have to be able to take it and make them understand that. So when I first started, it was just shit the entire time because I'm saying these things and they're not getting it. And I'm not understanding that it's my fault that they're not getting it. And there are videos on YouTube that I posted years ago because I have a fucking ego. And I think that everybody needs to see this. I'll be famous in a day.
Is that your 8 minutes, one laugh? That's going online.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the one I want.
I was that dumb.
No,
And
man,
they're-
we're all guilty of
and
doing
they're
it.
stuck there now because I don't remember the password for it. So,
Please
so
get famous.
that's the only reason why I don't want to become famous so people hear me or understand me, just so they can find that shit later and go, why
there's,
is he here?
yeah.
Why do we like him?
Did he hire a writer?
Yeah, but there are videos out there where I'm doing a set and it's dead silent. And I actually go, is this really that fucking hard to understand?
Oh no.
Yeah, and then it just got even more silent from there. Don't feel sad. That's the crux of a comic. You have to figure out what works for you and how to make your shit work.
That's got to be so hard though, because you don't know like
No, it's
like
almost
what you find funny is like how's everybody else gonna find it funny? And you gotta like when you
That's-
hear about comics like workshopping their stuff, like
Yeah, that's
it's hard to do, man.
It is. It's that's why I love all the open mics that are around the area because the only way that you possibly get better is you have to get on stage constantly. It's a learned skill. You can't. It's not like learning to play the guitar and you can go and play it in front of people and it's good. You have to get in front of people and test it
And fail.
Yeah, absolutely. Bombing is the best thing. If you bomb more often, you'll immediately know all the things that you can't do and pretty much have a good idea of what you can do. And also, the one thing that I learned is if you're doing a bit and you get a laugh off of it, that's always the funny part. And you need to build off of there. So as
Right.
soon as you get that laugh, just keep playing with that. No matter what's going on, everything you could have said before that laugh could be completely unfunny. But as soon as you say something funny, an audience will laugh. They cannot control it. So that is a guaranteed thing that is funny. And you build off of that.
How often do you have it like between audiences are different?
Yeah, all audiences are different.
Right. So like, I mean, do you have to do that a couple of times to know that okay, that's working?
Yeah, there is a period where it's just an idea and I'm playing around with it. And I know now what the funny part is for the most part. I know how to take something that's funny and build off of it. So I'll say, all right, this is the funny part. How do I get there? How do I take everybody along with me to get to that funny part so that they laugh? And that's pretty much how I build it. And now with most audiences, if I have an idea of what I'm doing, so they will laugh at it. I know how to get those quick couple laughs. And just from doing it for like 7 years, I just know how to get a laugh kind of out of nowhere, like a reflex, basically,
Right.
where, okay, this isn't going well. I'll just say this thing and get a laugh just because you make fun of the room or the tension that's building, just boring stuff like that. But you know how to read an audience at that point. You know how to get a quick laugh and then kind of build on what you're doing.
Make me laugh.
I already did earlier. I don't have to do shit.
and that's something
And he just did. Oh my God! Not only are you a
I know,
comic, you're
but that's
a
only
magician.
because I know my attitude and I know how to work my attitude now. I know my timing now. If
Right.
I would have done that 6 years ago and you'd have been pissed. You would have fucking hated me.
Now make him upset.
I already am.
Yeah,
man. It's
like-
inherent. It just is. I haven't took. I
you're
haven't,
in
Lauren,
a
make the
constant state of
walls
flux.
maroon. That's the equivalent.
You're just in a constant state of flux, man.
You know what it is? I think back to my 2 week ago therapy. Was it a week ago? 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
Wow, that was a weird sniff. I think I need to blow my nose at some point. I have no inner monologue. I think it was like ever since I was a kid, ever since I realized that like mortality was real. I've been miserable ever since.
That fucks with you when you realize it.
Oh my God. Like your brain just like,
Right?
you're
Like, I'm
sleeping at-
going to die one day.
Yeah.
And I don't know when. I
Yeah.
hope it's like 40 years from now and I get to live a long, happy life.
I
But
keep having this. Ever since I was a kid, I was like, all right, I was born in 1980. If I can make it to 2080, it's like it's a success. You know what I mean? If I can make it an entire century, it'll be fine. And then like my 20s hit, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna die. I'm just gonna do as much drugs and drink as much as I can. And then I was so I don't know if the word is self like aggrandizing. Is that the word? Where I just really thought so highly of myself, but at the same time I didn't. I was like, no one knows that I'm like this brilliant person.
Egocentric.
emo, I think is the term that they
Cried a lot.
Yeah.
But
Do you have somebody's name on your thigh? Because that would explain.
No, I don't. No. I have a combo platter number 4 on my arm, but
Nice.
that's
All right,
about
that's
it.
good.
And then like I remember I hit 27, and then I made it to 28, and I realized that all like the great artists and amazing musicians and everybody died at 27. So then I got real depressed that I didn't die at 27.
Oh man, Mark.
And then I made it to 30. And 30 was incredibly, like 30 was the worst. 22 and 30 were the worst birthdays ever. And then 1 month into my 30th birthday is when I got sober. Because I was like, oh, shit. Now the only thing I have to look forward to is Social Security. So I got to make it to Social Security. Yeah, that's how my brain works. Like this was stuff that we couldn't talk about in front of Rich and Guido and Mar. I think Marty Wolf would have had a heart attack if I started going like, we're all going to die. And then I thought I was gonna. And then when I realized I didn't, I was like, oh, I should really do something with my life.
Yeah, but that's not a big deal.
To other
it's
people,
not.
it is. It sounds very
Yeah, because a lot of
strange.
other people think that you should make everybody. There's a perception that life is supposed to be one thing for everybody, and it's not. Everybody's
No.
gonna die, which actually means life is completely meaningless.
That's
It
what
really is.
kills
I'm
me.
sorry.
What if?
That's what kills me.
It really is. Like you don't get to keep anything, and even if heaven exists, everybody's equal. So there's no fucking velvet rope section for anyone.
Yeah.
So
That's just making a lot of assumptions.
Puffy and I are going to be on the same sidewalk.
What
Diddy.
if every time you have a sensation of deja vu, it's actually you've died and you're going back to your last reset point.
Whoa, man. That's
I've thought of that before. Or if you died in
even
one of your
know.
other dimensions.
Right.
What? This
Jimmy
isn't
knows
Grand
what I'm-
Theft Auto, man.
Jimmy
Like,
knows what I'm talking about. The autosave point.
Exactly.
And you're
but
just kind of starting over and you keep going from where you left off.
but there's too much. There's too here. Fuck it. Let's get into religion.
What's the point then of anything?
No.
Even if you
Here-
have an auto save.
Let's get into religion so he
Let's-
can rip it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I mean, if you guys are gonna rip it, that's fine.
I don't have to pick on anybody in particular. I just have problems philosophically with it.
Right, and I think a lot of people do, but no one likes to admit it.
I don't think people understand that they have a problem with it philosophically.
Here's maybe they don't. They're the 90 whatever. I was gonna say something that was gonna get me shit kicked.
What was that?
Nothing. For disregard. I wish I had like the Men in Black flasher. What was I fucking saying? Oh, okay.
You're gonna give yourself whiplash if you keep doing that.
No, when it like there's so many like unexplained things in the universe, and you know, when it boils down to that, like I you know, maybe there is nothing, but maybe there is something. I kind of consider myself an agnostic. You know, I don't believe in the pee-pee touching and the, you know, all that stuff. I think there's good human ideas on how to treat people and how to be a nice person through all the religions.
Yeah.
You know, Buddhism, Taoism, Christianity. I mean, you know, I don't think anybody's murdered more people than the Christians, but which makes it ironic. But at the end of it, you know, I think the fairy tale of the afterlife is something that is man-made. I think, you know, I don't know what happens, but you know, as far as like physics and stuff that we're starting to find out, it's like it could be. There's so much unexplained stuff in the world that you don't know.
Matter?
That's kind of how I look at it. So I'm kind of like holding out hope.
Mark.
You know what I mean?
I would
But at the end of the day, like, can I really reflect on it when I'm dead and I can go, oh, nothing happened? I can't say
I would
that.
still
I'm
try
not
to
gonna
have a
opportunity.
fun life. Just
Oh
in
yeah,
case.
I'm,
I wouldn't.
dude. I'm having tons of fun. Sometimes,
Matter?
you know.
Mark.
Yes.
Matter can neither be created nor destroyed.
Yeah, but like that whole Neil deGrasse Tyson version of like, you know, we all come from stardust and we're all going to end up being stardust and we never disappear. And like, that's like a really poetic way of saying like, don't believe in that shit.
But why is that a bad thing? Why is that?
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. What I'm saying is that like if as an astrophysicist, if that's his way of justifying not feeling alone, good.
I'm just
I'm
saying
okay with that.
matter can be neither created nor destroyed. That is a principle of science.
For now.
For now, that's actually true because we can't even explain gravity fully. It's still a theory.
See, there's still so much, you know.
Right, but does
I have a theory that like Jimmy sleep eats. Doesn't mean I'm right.
Right, but I mean, if you're
Do you
getting
sleep
into
eat?
Hey,
no, you can talk.
Okay.
It's his thing.
Sorry.
I don't care.
Sorry.
No, but I mean, there's two different fields of thought there, though. There's a philosophical thought of what happens to us, and then there's like the scientific explanation of what they have right now. I don't think those two should really be combined when you're deciding what you're gonna do. Yeah, most likely nothing happens when you die, but still, philosophically, you should just do whatever you want, regardless of what the evidence says, because you're living now.
Yeah,
You
and
should
it doesn't
enjoy
and
yourself.
it doesn't
Right.
matter. You know, which I'm totally for. I just, you know, we all have our own view and perception of it. Nobody's
Right, and it should just stay that way. It should stay your own. That's the thing I've always had.
I'm sorry I vocalized it.
No, I have no problem with that.
I think regardless.
No,
of
I was saying
the,
in general. I wasn't saying just you.
No, I know.
we're all people that have to deal with other people, and if we have some sort of guiding maxim that happens to be in line with some sort of religion of some sort, I don't see anything wrong with that in particular. Believing where we're going to go when we die is really kind of inconsequential.
But I mean, if you
that sometimes will hinder people from doing things they've always wanted to do, or it makes them stop doing things that make them happy because they feel as though they won't be able to get into a specific place based off of
Into the
whatever
club.
religion. Right.
I feel like that's sort of a view coming from the outside of belief, though. If you actually believe in something and you're guided by the principles you
What
believe
do you
in, there's
mean
really
believe in
no
something,
way.
though? Do you mean religiously or just in general? Because you can believe in whatever you want.
In terms of usually a religion
I think
follows a set of
those two words
principles.
are really like blurred lines.
Yeah, it's
Belief and faith.
Well,
Yeah.
the word in general, I think, is very tough because everybody has a different definition of what exactly that is.
Right.
And because some people, you feel that, well, a belief, it needs to be enforced in some way, that they need to push it on other people because
Right.
they need to be
Right.
saved too.
And that's the issue that I have with it in general, is pushing your beliefs on other people. You can believe whatever you want. And so long as you're not hurting anybody, I don't really care what you believe.
Right.
Or do to yourself either.
Most Western religions, Christianity, Judaism.
Judaism?
Judaism.
Does that involve pads?
Anyway, judo doesn't involve pads.
Like kung fu? Lauren, I'm not
Judo, you
worldly.
throw people.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Would
There's
you?
a mat. Don't you have a mat?
Sometimes.
You throw people on concrete floors in judoism?
Yes.
Judoism?
We could go out in the warehouse right now.
That's what she said. You're not throwing me on a concrete floor in judoism.
No.
No. What do you mean? Oh, like why is it like a sad thing?
So
Like,
anyway, most of these religions actually follow kind of the Greek principle of agape love, where the idea is to love other people to the extent that you would love yourself. That is the golden rule in Christianity. That's like the golden rule across a lot of different religions. But
yeah, but a
it's-
sadist is a masochist who follows the golden rule.
Lauren, I literally just saw sparks fly out of your head. I didn't even know that was possible.
You can
wanna
thank David
digest
Mills
it?
for that one.
We have to be careful because the way I see it anyway, philosophy and comedy are very much related in
can
a
be,
lot of
absolutely.
ways.
But there's so much perceptive, educated stuff out of comics' mouths.
Well, yeah, I mean, George Carlin really shaped a lot of my feelings on things over the years because he really made me think outside the box a little bit more. And I've always, I've never exactly fit in with what other people feel. Like I was raised Catholic, but I never felt like I was a part of it. I always felt like an outsider. I never felt like I really believed in it.
Were you like judged?
All the time, constantly, and
Really?
that only made it worse. It made it way worse because the worst thing that you can do to somebody who doesn't believe in that stuff is just try to force it on them, because then it just makes them resent it more, and they're never going to wake up and come through one day like they expect you to. And
Oh, I was wrong.
yeah, like suddenly, if you beat me over the head 100 times,
That 5,000th whack was the one that I needed.
yeah,
for
that
me to
was
be-
it.
Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate that. So
Thank you, Nurse Ratchet.
yeah. So I mean, I've never, it was nice to, when I heard his stuff for the first time, it was like, oh, okay, someone else thinks this too. I'm not the only one.
It's a great
And-
relief.
Yeah. Well, once I understood that there was a thing called atheism, that you could actually not believe in anything, I was like, oh, okay, good. Because, I really thought I was going to be the only one, and then you start to realize other people are too. And then, I don't think you necessarily have to, I don't feel the need, like some people will still go to meetings. There's atheist groups and things out there. I'm just not in that kind of
isn't
mode.
atheism just like the lack of religion?
Well, yeah,
like
that's-
the void of it, because
Atheism-
a lot of
it's
people think it's a
strictly-
religion.
It can be. I mean,
It can be.
acts like one. Atheism,
But it's not
strictly
supposed to
just
be.
means without theism. That's it. You just don't have any particular regard for any particular.
You go to your job, you raise your family, and that's it.
Right, that's it. Babies are born atheists. 'cause
Sundays-
They know nothing of any type of religion whatsoever. But
right.
there's also, like, Christopher Hitchens considered himself to be an anti-theist, which he was against religion, theology of all sorts. He did not want
Bill Maher.
anything to do with it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why Bill Maher and Hitchens got along so well. I mean,
Yeah.
because I think politically they were opposite ends of the spectrum, weren't they?
Yeah. Hitchens was
Hitchens
a
liked
little
to
more
fuck with
conservative.
people. Yeah, he was conservative, but he also
But he
liked
loved
he
to
did.
like
argue. It
Yeah.
was great.
Yes, and he was great at it.
Absolutely.
he was excellent. I got to meet him the one time that he was in Scranton, which
Oh,
was
excellent.
unbelievable. I mean, it was actually towards the end of his life. It was within the last year of his life because he died of cancer.
Yeah.
and he was so nice and so generous with his time, and he was he never did a live appearance where he wasn't on his game 100%. Even when he knew he was dying, he was just that good. He was just that interesting and that intellectual that he could out debate anybody in the room.
Yeah, my wife actually just bought me the last book that he wrote, Mortality, which talks about when he was diagnosed until he died and how he pretty much dealt with dying and understanding that he was going to die and never accepting just anybody's bullshit that they were trying to push on to him about how he should accept death or how he should be handling it. The entire time he just went, yeah, I'm dying and that's pretty much it. So please leave me alone. I'm going to my book signing now.
But I mean, isn't there like this strange, for I can only speak for me, but there's always like that underlying fear of the unknown and mortality and all that stuff. But I mean, to look at it like, Hitchens was one of those guys where it's just like, man, like not like it was amazing to watch that, because believing what he believed, and pretty adamantly he believed what he believed, and it didn't faze him,
right?
You know what I mean? Like he just went, the train's gonna go until the tracks run out, like that's it. And it was pretty admirable to watch. Like you got to appreciate, a guy who can do that, who's that smart and can still like keep his A game.
And there's the
without like the mental quality, right? Being like, holy shit, like I got a lot less days ahead of me than I do behind.
And that's the old cliche is that when the atheist in foxhole sort of thing where okay, I'm gonna die, so all of a sudden now I'm gonna believe really quick, so that I can make sure I can secure that place in heaven. And it's like, well, that's dumb anyway, because obviously if God knows everything, he's omnipotent, he's going to see right through that and see that you weren't a believer the whole time, and
what do people
you're
think?
gonna go to hell anyway.
What do you mean?
So
like what do you think people think? Like St. Peter's up there and like Michael at the last but like at the last moment, like Michael converted and they're like, oh, you almost missed it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
some people believe that.
To me, that's how funny it is. And to me, that's how I kind of dealt with religion. And the more that I saw how funny it was and how easy it was to pick apart, the more comfortable I kind of became with the idea of it and myself. And, and I don't really, I used to blog about it a lot. I used to do a lot of writing about it.
Like, did it occupy your mind a lot?
Yeah. Well, it in the sense of especially when you're a teenager and a 20-something, and you have those late night discussions with your friends about
real late.
Yeah. Sometimes with not necessarily in my case, but a lot of times with some pot being passed around. You really you start to think about those deeper things, and you get into that kind of stuff, and then people are just supposed to forget that. Like you're supposed to stop questioning at a certain point at age and go, okay, I'm grown up now, so now I have a family and I have to raise them with this religion that we've had in the family for generations. And you have to have your wedding in a church, and you have to make sure you baptize your kids, and so on and so forth. It's society in general. It's still very uncomfortable to come out as a person who doesn't really believe in that sort of thing.
It's easier to say that you're gay now.
Yeah,
it is to say that you don't believe in God.
Well, polls prove that.
Yeah.
Polls prove. People said that they would rather a Gallup
I'm not trying to
poll.
put anything on gay people. I understand it's very fucking hard, especially in this area, how hard it is to admit that you're gay.
Agreed.
I'm not
completely.
saying
Is he
that
the gay. Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
Margaret
that
Cho, man.
in most cases you'd be more accepted
Yeah.
by like 1%. But it's not very high.
There was a Gallup poll a couple years ago where people said they would if they were voting for president, how much religion means to them. So of course, Christianity was the top one. On the bottom, atheism was below gay and Muslim. So
amongst Americans.
This is a few years after 9/11.
Okay.
So we're talking like, we're at the height of holy shit, the Muslims are going to get us, and all of them are out to kill us and take away our way of life and all that kind of shit.
Sharia law.
And we're still lower than them. We're still like, no,
Gay.
we really don't trust them. I'd rather take a gay Muslim over you. Like, that's just how distrustful people are if you don't fit into that mold of believe. Well, you do believe in something, right? I mean, even my own family still does that, where they're like, but you know, at the end of the day, right? You still believe in something, right? Like, you
But
think
what
there's
is
something
something?
out
But what
there.
is that?
Well, that's
Exactly.
the issue. Is nobody actually, when somebody says that they're an atheist, nobody really understands what they mean by that. Because again, it means being an atheist is just as diverse as saying that you're a Christian in what you believe. Because there's a whole book on things that you should believe as a Christian, but they all don't. There's hundreds of books on atheism, on what you can, what you should, or at least describing the ethics of it. Why you would believe that you're an atheist, or why you would be an atheist. So saying that you're an atheist, at least in my case, if I say it, I only say it because people somewhat have an idea of what it means, but they don't know what my personal views and everything are. It's just easier than, well, what do you, I'm an atheist. Just, that's it. You kind of have an idea. Just go with that.
Shouldn't the rules for atheism be about as long as the rules for Fight Club?
I don't think by definition there should probably be no laws for atheism.
Right. It should be the exact
The
opposite
absence of.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. But that's the issue, that nobody understands it.
Right.
Because,
Are these books written for everybody who's having their crisis of faith?
no, they're just philosophy.
What is
they're
this?
just all in the
Atheism.
philosophy section. And I mean, they're usually like, I wouldn't say you're like radical, but just on the cusp of being like radical.
Of being like, wow.
Right, because I mean, they really go after
That whole paragraph was in
religion.
caps.
Yeah, no, most of the atheist books really just go after religion hard, and that it's like half science, and then the rest of it is look at all this crazy shit that they believe in, why you probably shouldn't.
Keep going. Sorry.
No, and so the issue there is, even in the atheist literature, they're not really giving you an idea of what the philosophy is behind
Right.
it. It's strictly just.
Is there a philosophy behind it?
There can be. I mean,
There's ethics to go with it, just like anything else. I
Right,
mean,
but nobody really
not everybody
discusses that.
and nobody is this exactly the same on it.
No.
You know, I mean, you can be, a conservative.
Latter-day Saints.
Well, yeah, that's the thing though. Is
I meant, oh my dog. It's like Latter-day Saints.
it's like he said, it's more just like there's a lot of people out there who will write these books or be on talk shows or whatever else, and they say they've kind of come to represent atheists, but I don't really think that's a
When
great
was
way to
the
look.
vote?
Well, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Is
they just show up to talk shows
right, and I think
We're all as qualified as
and
Bill.
fight with what's his name, Kirk Cameron,
right.
Oh my God.
because evidently he's the one that they picked.
Yeah.
Look, he chose himself.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. What
He believes he's chosen.
no ego
Yeah,
there.
but I mean, how do you? Oh my God! Like, it blows my mind. Like, people like Kirk Cameron. It's just like, dude, like, like you're doing like there's so many things that are in my brain right now that want to come out of my mouth about this man. All right, that I can't like. It's all vowels and
Take a breath.
and consonants, and I can't make sense of it. It's like eating alphabet soup.
If you imagine that feeling about all religion, that's exactly how I feel. If you want me to kind of sum it up in one sentence,
But I mean, you don't. I don't think you don't need to believe in like that's why I didn't go to AA. You know what I mean? Like, and I went to AA for like 3 weeks, and they're like, higher power. It could,
Right.
It could be a rock, and I'm like, no, it can't.
yeah, no, you're saying that, but
Right.
yeah, you don't really mean that,
right.
If you want your higher power, it could be a cup, or it could be like this shag carpet, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, that seems too radical. And at the same time, it was like, this really feels like church, and I stopped going.
Good for you.
You know what I mean? So I lasted about 3 weeks in AA, and nothing against AA, man. Like, it works for
Yeah, for a lot of people.
different strokes, different folks. There was when I was in LA, I was working on this. Oh my God, I was working on this movie, and one of the second ADs was this girl who had just recently gotten sober. This woman who had just recently gotten sober, and you know me, I like to talk to people, whatever. And she's like, I just recently got sober, and I was like a screaming alcoholic. And I'm like, oh, how'd you do that? And she's like, I really don't want to talk about it. And I'm like, well, it might help me. You know, I don't care if you were like, oh, I was hypnotized or whatever. And she said Scientology. And that was the thing. And I was like, you know what? Whatever works. But Bill Maher said Scientology is no crazier than any other religion.
No, it's not. Matter of fact, I like Scientology strictly because they tell you not to tell anybody. They know that they're that crazy.
Don't spread the word.
They and Mormonism. I can't say it right. Mormonism, is that it?
Mormonism, yeah.
Yeah. They both tell you like,
The Latter-day
Romneyism.
Saints.
yeah,
Yeah.
don't tell nobody about what we believe because they know in the back of their mind it's all shit.
Yeah.
They will know it.
And but that's the other, it's like, oh my, like you should want,
It's all
fucking religion, man.
Okay,
Well-
I'm going to take the other side of this whole story because I'm feeling a little bit like we need another voice
yeah.
in this soup of.
Are you going to play devil's
agnostics.
advocate?
I'm not going to say that because that would imply I don't
religion?
necessarily have any sort of belief system.
I'm not saying anything. It's just,
I'm just going to be very cryptic
Right,
about
but you
what
can
I
have
believe.
A belief system.
yeah, I believe
You would just call it your belief system. It
this. It's,
My-
yeah,
my
it's, the
argument is that
religion of Lauren.
Okay, so
right.
okay, fine.
I mean, don't commit to it if you don't want to.
I'm going to start my own religion, and it's going to be called something that's going to be clever, and you're going to come up with it later. Anyway,
I like
pressure,
the religion
man.
of Lauren.
it's not. I don't feel like that communicates the religion very well.
What does communicate.
I'm not
the
sure
religion?
yet. We haven't come up with the parameters of it yet.
What about batshit crazy?
That might be actually
Yeah.
a little bit more
The
accurate.
Church of Guano.
You'll get mesothelioma if you stay around it too much. No, I feel like
Jimmy's in there having a fucking nervous breakdown. He's like, I didn't want to talk about this at all. No one will listen to me. My parents will shun
I
me.
don't have a
In-
comment.
in the history of human kind,
It's a mystery. That's all it is.
the belief
will figure it
systems have been easily passed down from generation to generation through oral history, which I think explains a lot of where these different religions came from storytelling. So for us to take everything so literally is a little bit silly. However, the principles, the morals behind a lot of the parables in these religions kind of have a really good basis in how we're supposed to be treating each other. And
Some of them do.
The Ten Commandments are don't be an asshole.
Basically.
They don't really help
Except
you.
for the ones about jealous
no other
gods
God
and all that other kind of stuff.
Right,
So
but okay.
You got to cut those out.
What,
and get to,
Carlin
like-
boiled it down to one?
Yeah, exactly.
What was it? Two. Be honest and faithful to the provider of thy nookie, and try really hard not to kill someone, unless, of course, they believe in a different invisible man than you do.
All right, but going back to the history, because I'm fascinated by religion. I'm fascinated
Oh, me
by like
too.
where it came
Me too,
from.
absolutely.
I'm
Yeah, it's
fascinated by
interesting.
but at the same time, it's you look at it and it's like it's almost like I really don't want to compare religion to Nazism, but it's like how do you convince an entire nation of people to believe that we should commit one of the biggest atrocities of all time, in the 20th century, and then not only that, like how many people have died in the name of God,
Right.
which really horrifies me. And the funny thing is like usually when those fights are being fought, both sides think that they have God on their side. Mm-hmm. So if you lose, does that mean you chose poorly? You know what I mean? Like there's so many of those things that are that you like common sense is be like, God just didn't want us to win today. And it's like, I really don't think that's maybe you just picked a really bad fight.
Well, how is it that let's try to seg a little bit back into.
Sorry, I brought this.
How do you take this
There's
kind
the
of
section that people are going to be fast forwarding through. Are they done talking about that yet?
Yeah,
well,
we're all gonna die.
people are very uncomfortable talking about it. So
I skip through
How do
shit
you
like
go in front of an audience and talk about that kind of stuff and make them laugh about it?
It's got to be really funny. I mean, it really does. Anytime that you get onto a taboo subject, especially religion, it depends on what you're saying. Because there's different levels of joking about religion or any subject, really, but specifically with religion, it just depends on what the joke is and what you're trying to get across. If you're just trying to say that If you're joking about like your own religion in a way, it's one thing because people will look at it and go, oh, he's just joking about himself or what he believes. That's fine. It's when you start going after religion and you really start trying to deconstruct what they've built and you try doing it in a funny way, that's where you really are going to split your audience, because some people are going to get it and some people are going to get angry because they'll take it personally, which is the most annoying thing. It's like, I'm not saying it about you. I'm saying it about religion in general. If you're strong in your beliefs, none of this should bother you at
Right.
all. If what I'm saying is bothering you, you might want to go talk to your pastor or read a book or something, because whatever I'm saying, and I'm just an asshole with a microphone making jokes and I'm bothering you. I mean, you might want to think about what you believe if the dude slinging ha-has at you is making you upset about what you believe.
Well, that was the reaction, I think, a lot when the cartoonist got attacked in France.
Right.
You know, the Charlie Hebdo thing. That really, to me, kind of sealed that. If you can't stand criticism that much that you have to murder people, you know, you've taken it too far.
Right.
You know, you need to, especially because these are like infantile jokes. Like we're talking
Right.
like real basic,
It's like Calvin and Hobbes.
a lot of it would Calvin and Hobbes is genius. We're talking like these are like the kind of scribbles you
Sorry,
did.
Rich, I ruined your child. I didn't mean to step on your childhood.
No, there's a great one where somebody messed with the like panel, and it's Calvin and Hobbes walking in a forest, and the kid goes, "I need you to maul me, a motherfucker." It's my favorite one I've ever seen.
I mean, that's a really, but you know what? They put an issue out the next week, and
Right.
who do they put on the cover?
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that to me is like
Well, it's ballsy, and it shows you too that they believe that much in taking the piss out of somebody.
But isn't
you know
it-
that
isn't it also-
and the importance of that.
But-
I think it's incredibly important.
But isn't it? Can't you flip that? Can't you Mad Lib that?
With what?
Fundamentalism? They believe it so much that they did what they did.
No, here's
Right, but
I realize a cartoon doesn't
I
hurt
don't
anybody.
Think you can. I don't think you can.
But isn't it about belief?
Well,
Right, but then you're getting into what is it? I can't remember. It's basically I can't remember the word. Basically, well,
Ask
this
Lauren.
Describe it.
There's a
It's like
a
deviant
vowel.
behavior and against like different cultures and everything. What we believe is one thing. What they believe is another. What we believe here is right to us. What they believe there is right to them. So who's to say who's right and who's wrong? That's kind of the argument, right? Well, it's
Yeah.
right for them to go to those extremes. But the problem is we live in a society, not just in the United States, but globally, where murdering people is kind of wrong.
But it
for the
happens
most-
on epic scales.
Oh no, absolutely. But
Yeah.
that's the crossroads that we're at, where we've advanced enough, but people are still willing to kill for what they believe or don't believe. And that's where the issue comes from, that globally I think the majority of people recognize, unless you're like in China or something, that killing somebody
Or North Korea.
yeah, I mean they make a field day out of it, but killing people in general, I believe, I can be wrong, amongst most people is agreed that it's wrong. So then you have these outliers, and I mean, 6 billion people in the world? Let's say 2 million of them believe that
6 billion.
I said 6 billion.
I think it's 6 billion.
No, I'm sorry. No, 6 billion people in the
Yeah.
world. 2 million believe it's okay to kill.
Which is a small percentage when you look at
It's a
it.
very small percentage that believe that it's okay to do that. And now, after that whole cartoon thing, didn't even most the countries that they were claiming to be a part of, they're like, no, we want nothing to do with it.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
they're
Right.
realizing now
The head
that-
of Hamas came out and said they have done more to hurt the Islamic faith than those cartoons could have ever done.
right, and that's the hopefully the right pathway that people should be going on. They're going, okay, shit's getting out of control now. Maybe we need
Right.
to step in, and because that's the only thing that's gonna fix the issue is on our end over here, we can only do so much and, wag our finger and say, you shouldn't do that. It's got to come from the community that they're in to
Right.
fix the issue. We can say, don't do that all you want, but it's their community that has to fix the issue. We can't do anything.
But we think we can.
Well, yeah,
Unfortunately.
that's
Right.
another podcast.
To America
altogether.
World Police.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, I don't find them, I don't think you can switch one or the other because I think, if you really truly believe in free speech and you truly, like you said, believe
they
that
don't.
anybody can feel how they
Right.
want to feel, well, then yeah. So how can you say that, killing someone is the same as drawing a cartoon?
It's
'Cause that's what you're- that's what you're saying to switch those two.
No. It's not. It's just that belief system is so skewered. I think
Right.
that is the right word, apocryphal. That for somebody to draw, like, I can't. Everywhere I turn is Jesus Christ on a cross and one of the most deplorable depictions of a person
Right.
you've ever seen. But you can't draw a dude with a beard.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we're Christians are like, I don't know if they were like, look, the Muslims don't want to show anything at all, so we're just going to put our guy in all of it, like at the bitter end, so that you can see.
Well, to be fair to the Christians, they got used to it. At least they finally gave it up. I mean, they stopped killing for the most part, stopped killing people for that specifically, and said, "Okay, it's okay for you to make movies and laugh at us and whatever." Now, sure, people still get mad and they get offended and whatever, but
you're
that's where it
allowed
ends.
to,
You get
yeah.
a protest and stuff like
Right.
that. That's one thing, like rushing in with AK-47s and gunning people down. That's another. That's
Right. Well, the thing is, even the Quran has just as much. It's like 50-50, the same thing with the Bible. The Bible says that you should, be nice to people and then kill your enemies. The Quran says be nice to people and kill your enemies. And for whatever reason, modern day Christians have decided, I guess, just try. And they decided
yeah,
they just decided to go with the other half of the book, and
right.
they're making a bad name for all the other people that don't believe in that and want to be peaceful.
Yeah, because
Like,
Every
any-
religion has its
Right, but-
extremists, though.
Right,
Yeah.
but there's no difference between religion and a political philosophy either. On paper, for the most part, they can be great. It's just when they're put into practice is where the issue comes from.
right.
Well, also, it's
When
like
you
when you allow the flock to go with the message,
Right.
that's when it gets scary because they're like, oh, well, we can do what we want to do.
Can we all kind of agree that the Pope is awesome, though?
Not this week.
Not what happened this week.
Yeah.
He said, and I'm paraphrasing, that it's not okay to make fun of other people's religions.
Did he?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Bill Maher lambasted him on Friday.
Lambasted.
Lambasted him on Friday. Yeah, Bill Maher. He actually said he called it was like a bar
I'm
fight.
always. Go ahead.
To be fair, though, that is kind of in line with what he's been preaching from the beginning. That
True.
everybody is equal and that nobody's better than anyone else. So at least in that respect, he's consistent with his belief system that everybody should get along, not make fun of each other.
Well, I mean, and maybe that's the other thing that like pisses me off is like, like, okay, he can. I'm cool with him taking that position. I respect him taking that position. I probably partially agree with that position. That guy has done so much
right.
good stuff, and then. But he's like, he says the one thing where it's like, we really shouldn't make fun of other people's religions, and everyone's like, fuck him.
Well,
You know what I mean? It's that one thing, and it's not even like really inflammatory. It's like, hey, don't be a dick to other people who you don't agree with.
well, earlier in the podcast, we were talking about how we don't want people shoving religion down our throats in general. But could you imagine being on the other end of
pontiff?
that? If you are of a faith and you're being told that your faith is ridiculous and shouldn't have it.
Not the same thing.
See, but the way I think about it,
Not the same thing.
see, but the way I think about it, and I think when Zach was trying to explain like how to relate that to an audience, and I don't know why the image popped into my head, and I'm a pretty big fan of Mad Libs because I think it makes things really simple. You take out the noun, put in the new noun, and it's.
I'm familiar with
Mad
Mad Libs. Thank you.
For those who aren't, you know, being up on stage and you know, to say that, you know, to mock religion, to say, you know, it's, you know, your religion shit, whatever, is basically like you saying you don't love your wife, you don't love your husband. You know, who the hell are you to say that? And who the hell are you? And people are going to get defensive about it. Like that's the way it is. That's why it's not.
That don't understand what the point of the joke is. Yes, that is just as
right.
offensive
So
to
the
them
people
as
who
that.
take it
right,
to
that are
heart,
taking it personally instead
Right.
of just accepting it as a funny thing that somebody's trying to say.
right.
That
so
that it does come down to something like
back
that.
to the Henry Rollins thing, when I said he busted my balls for 2.5 hours about how my parents didn't love me,
Yeah.
I didn't take offense to that.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was all in good fun.
Right.
You know, if you're going to a comedy club, you know, and if you're going to a show, as an audience member, as a paying customer, you should know that pretty much all bets are off.
Sure.
Well, not only that, but I mean, we're at a point now where if you're going to a comedy show, you can look up online who the people on the show are and know
Yeah,
what
and probably
you're
get
about
a
to
sneak preview.
Yeah,
of
and
like,
know
yeah.
what you're about to get into. It's not like 30 years ago where you paid your money to go in and then you were just subjected to whoever the hell was on stage.
Andy Kaufman just screwed with you for the next 4 hours.
Yeah.
Like that's that whole issue with the lady that got mad at Daniel Tosh for making a rape joke. And like, have you ever watched the show? Like he's famous for doing that kind of
But
stuff.
he
Like, how
had
do
to
you not?
apologize.
Did he though?
He
Didn't he
did.
do it like a backhanded apology?
It was an apology in probably the only way that Daniel Tosh could do an apology.
or would allow himself to.
Yeah, I mean, but he did apologize. He's like, you
Yeah.
know, I'm sorry you. But I mean, at the end of, what are you gonna say? I'm sorry you took it that way.
Right.
You know, I'm sorry you have no sense of humor. But that's what it is. It's like
No,
these
it is
uptight
because-
people who, like, you know, like,
Well, it's because people think they have a right not to be offended, that they shouldn't hear things that they don't want to hear, that everybody should just cater to them, and that's an issue. Like,
the pussification of America,
yes.
as Bill Maher would call it.
it's true.
Apparently, he's like my deity.
No, but you can see it on Tuesdays where you can tell the people that really like my stuff compared to the people that don't. It's really weird in the room because there's a pit and people that really want to be at the open mic and have a good time are down in the pit. And the people who are just like, oh, I guess I'll sit around for the show, all hang out at the bar. And it's this weird split. And the people that really like the stuff that I'm doing are laughing really hard and they're in the pit. Everybody else is laughing because they're having a good time, but they don't like get the point of what I'm saying. And it's the same with other comics that kind of skew on the same realm that I do. But it's weird with people. Like some people, like you can say something and they'll have a good time and they will get nothing out of it. And then other people will go, oh, like they get the bigger idea.
Yeah,
Behind it.
I mean, watching your stuff, it's not like, you know, you do, you know, I don't know if this is the right word, but like you do smart comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not just like, yeah, my cousin Walter,
Right.
you know, has a turkey. You know what I mean? It's like the one thing
I want
saw
to
was
do
like,
that now just to see
just
if
make it up, man. Just go with it. But you did something about
turkey and you gobble gobble turkey.
Rich told me Rich told me to check out your stuff and it was like a one line that you just kind of like threw in there about China committing human rights violations.
Yeah.
And it was like, and I'm like, holy shit, Rich, like that was funny. And the audience was like kind of like, wait, what just,
Right.
and it was just like pong.
Right. There is a time where
We're like, there's a grand picture there. Like there's a
right. I'm actually trying to say something here,
Right.
and I'm disguising it as a joke.
Right.
Which is sometimes it's a lot of fun because people will pick up on it. And I've done that bit where I'm getting laughs the entire time. And then when I do the final punchline of punching a baby, there's a... See, everybody here knows me well enough that I said punch a baby and it's fine. So that's good. But other
Lauren
times,
doesn't even, you don't know the whole joke, do you? You're just laughing at punch a baby. You're a sicko.
But there are points in that bit where people just do not understand what I'm trying to get across. And they're like on edge with it. what's the line where I'm talking about the lottery and basically how we waste all our money giving lottery winners money when we should be paying our bills back to China, and the right and the
You didn't even do the bit.
Yeah.
She's dying. I can't wait to see her actually come to one of your shows.
You're going,
because he's so right. Because the general idea behind it is true.
You
Like,
have a better chance of being struck by lightning and eaten by the shark simultaneously than winning the
Right.
lottery. It's a voluntary tax.
yeah, but anyways, the line in there is basically you're the president talking to China and having to explain to them why you're not able to pay your bills, and then we just gave all our money away because some guy had 5 numbers on a piece of paper. And like, why? Well, because it's fun to give stuff away. You know how you give away baby girls in your country? We do the same thing with money. And see, they have that exact same reaction because they know right there, oh, that's kind of a big deal. And then the punchline to that is, for those of you that don't understand that joke, China has a No Child Left Behind law too, but it means something way different than it does here. And that's the switch where they go,
God.
oh, okay, it's a joke, it's true, but it's the insanity of the fact that that's so true that
yeah, there was no misstatement in what you said.
no.
Right. And people
And
are like,
that's one of my favorite things to do is say the exact thing that I am thinking and wanting to say, and either getting that big laugh reaction because I have no problem in saying it, or getting that, oh shit, now we have to come to terms with this kind of stuff. I don't want to think about that.
I'm going to go home and take a shit later, and I'm going to be thinking about this.
I want to hear about the goddamn turkey.
It's a great turkey, man.